Residual neuromuscular blockade leaves patients with varying degrees of postoperative paralysis. The clinical consequences are severe, directly correlating with acute hypoxemia, impaired pulmonary function, and an increased incidence of postoperative pneumonia. For decades, anesthesiologists relied on subjective clinical assessments, like measuring a patient's grip strength or their ability to sustain a head lift, to gauge neuromuscular recovery. We now know these observational methods lack the sensitivity required to detect dangerous levels of residual weakness. This table from the 2023 American Society of Anesthesiologists Practice Guidelines addresses this directly. Recommendations 1 and 2 explicitly state that clinical assessment alone is insufficient for avoiding residual neuromuscular blockade. The guidelines now mandate objective, quantitative monitoring over qualitative assessment. Relying on subjective clinical assessment puts lives at risk. Transitioning to hard, quantitative data is a strictly defined requirement for modern patient safety. Within this context of strict monitoring, we must examine Sugammadex, the pharmacological agent designed for the rapid reversal of steroidal neuromuscular blocking drugs like Rocuronium. It operates chemically as a modified gamma-cyclodextrin. Its rapid onset profile has generated a dangerous clinical assumption, the belief that administering Sugammadex guarantees complete reversal and removes the need for the ASA's strict monitoring rules. If this molecule provides unparalleled reversal speed, we must account for why occurrences of residual neuromuscular blockade, recuriorization, and postoperative respiratory failure are still documented in recent clinical literature. The answer lies in the pharmacokinetics. Sugammadex's unique mechanism removes the old timing limitations associated with reversal agents, but replaces them with exact dosing requirements that can only be satisfied by precise quantitative data. To understand this stringent dosing requirement, we have to look at the traditional reversal paradigm utilizing neostigmine. Neostigmine reverses paralysis indirectly. It inhibits acetylcholinesterase, allowing acetylcholine to accumulate at the synaptic cleft and eventually outcompete the blocking agent. This enzymatic inhibition has strict limits, triggers broad autonomic side effects, most notably QTc prolongation and severe bradycardia. This split-screen comparison highlights the mechanical difference. On the right, the 3D-modified gamma-cyclodextrin ring of Sugammadex operates through direct molecular encapsulation. The ring circulates in the plasma, directly binding the rocuronium molecule, physically encapsulating it and pulling rocuronium away from the neuromuscular junction. This direct physical removal allows for rapid recovery even from deep neuromuscular blockade, which optimizes laparoscopic surgical conditions. It also avoids QTc prolongation, offering a clear clinical advantage for patients with conditions like Brugada syndrome. Molecular encapsulation completely bypasses the physiological ceiling of traditional acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. However, it also entirely alters the pharmacokinetic timeline of recovery. Mapping that new timeline requires a peripheral nerve stimulator to gather objective recovery data. For moderate blockade, this interface tracks the train of 4, or TOF, metric. The device delivers 4 equal 2 Hz pulses to the nerve, calculating the muscle twitch response ratio. The absolute minimum threshold for safe extubation is a TOF ratio greater than or equal to 0.9. When in deep blockade, patients yield a TOF count of exactly 0 out of 4. Now, post-tetanic count, or PTC, becomes mandatory. The monitor applies a high-frequency 50 Hz tetanic stimulation for 5 seconds, pauses for 3 seconds, then delivers a single 1 Hz twitch. The resulting number of twitches evaluates exactly how close the patient is to recovering a baseline TOF count of 1. The ASA is clear. Physiological responses, like measured tidal volume or a sustained head lift, cannot substitute for these objective measurements. Administering any reversal agent without knowing the precise TOF ratio or PTC count is blind guesswork that practically guarantees periods of residual paralysis. The most frequent error in Sugammadex administration is underdosing. This chart shows the dose-response equilibrium. Administering an insufficient dose triggers recuriorization. The Rocuronium Sugammadex equilibrium shifts backward, allowing trapped rocuronium molecules to escape the cyclodextrin rings and return to the receptor sites. This pharmacokinetic reality complicates dosing for morbidly obese patients, where literature continues to debate calculating the required dose based on ideal body weight versus actual body weight. The only clinical method to resolve this dosing controversy and prevent recurrization is strict quantitative monitoring before administration and continuous monitoring afterward. This exact precision is equally critical in patients with severe renal failure because the Sugammadex Rocuronium complex relies entirely on renal excretion to clear the body. Initial reversal remains rapid in these patients, but clearance drops drastically. Removing the residual complex requires specialized high-flux dialysis. Sugammadex works through physical sequestration because Rocuronium remains chemically intact inside the cyclodextrin ring. A failed trap from underdosing leads to sudden, delayed postoperative paralysis. There is also a rapidly emerging hazard that typically presents within the first 5 minutes of administration: severe hypersensitivity and anaphylaxis. The physical geometry of the Sugammadex Rocuronium inclusion complex frequently triggers this cascade, often more so than the standalone Sugammadex molecule. This diagram shows the physical anomaly. When the gamma-cyclodextrin host ring encapsulates Rocuronium, the antigenic ammonium group protrudes slightly from the structure. This exposes a highly specific binding site for complementary IgE antibodies, which dock onto the complex and trigger a rapid anaphylactic response. The compound also exhibits secondary structural interactions with steroid hormones. Sugammadex binds tightly to progestogen, creating an exposure deficit equivalent to a missed dose of oral contraceptives. The chemical shape that makes Sugammadex an effective reversal agent also introduces novel binding sites for severe immune and hormonal cascades, demanding constant clinical vigilance. Mitigating these molecular risks requires synthesizing the pharmacology and the ASA guidelines into a rigid standard operating procedure. Step 1 of the clinical algorithm is the administration of Rocuronium for intubation or to maintain deep surgical blockade. Step 2 is mandatory, continuous monitoring of blockade depth utilizing TOF and PTC metrics. Step 3 requires calculating the exact Sugammadex dose based purely on the quantitative depth gathered in Step 2. Step 4 is absolute. You must confirm a TOF ratio greater than or equal to 0.9 prior to extubation. Following this strict protocol yields measurable results. Large-scale trial data shows Sugammadex reduces postoperative pulmonary complications to 3.5% compared to 4.8% with Neostigmine. However, this statistical reduction in pneumonia and respiratory failure only materializes if underdosing and residual blockade are avoided entirely. Subjective assessment is now clinically obsolete. Safe airway management now requires a protocol that pairs advanced molecular reversal with irrefutable quantitative data.